he's quite a guy. Tell me when it's 9. It's not 9.
Couple minutes yet.
Now look at this. This young lady came back. This is the 3rd week now. You're doing well. You're hanging in there.
Have they made you full-time yet?
No,
You're not full-time yet, huh?
no, I'm a freelancer.
Answer me, though.
On a mission again.
Oh, Brenda's coming, isn't she?
As far as I know.
Depends on which route you take.
Yeah.
Or what road is under construction.
Right.
when you get there.
Yes.
You gotta be real careful with that.
How's Steve?
Three of them jumped across the road this morning.
Really?
Thought it was your chance.
9 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It is 9 a.m. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the weekly meeting of the County Board of Commissioners. We'll open the meeting today with the Pledge of Allegiance. And Commissioner Waterman, you want to lead us this morning? Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate that. Couple of housekeeping chores. If you have a cell phone, which I imagine you do, please silence it or just turn it off. And if you do get a call that you need to take, please step out into the rotunda area so you don't disrupt the meeting. This meeting is being streamed live. If you do approach the board, for sure you will be on the stream. Just a heads up so that you're aware of that. Also at this time, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to approach the board with a concern or some comments or any kind of a public comment? We want to make certain that you have time during the open portion of the meeting. Is there anyone that has anything? Seeing none, then how about board members? Are there any items on the agenda that you feel would be in conflict of interest for you?
No.
I don't see any, so with that, I'll
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
approve a motion to approve the agenda. And that was
Second.
by Commissioner Hatton and a second by Van Duzen. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And Lee?
Aye.
Lee Gable is not with, he's with us electronically this morning, so that's why we'll be asking for his vote individually. Let's go ahead and approve the minutes of the June 25th
Move to approve
meeting.
as emailed.
We have a motion by Hatton and a
Second.
second by Gable. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Commissioner Gable?
Aye.
Motion carries. Let's go right into the monthly reports, and we'll start out with Jody with the extension. Good morning, Jody. And by the way, we'll start reviewing our budgets today. It is July 1. The budget year begins, so...
Did you want me to do mine now?
Yeah.
I have to go to the Boys and Girls Club right after this, so.
Good, right. And everybody should have under their desk the
Your binders are
binder
set up.
with the new budget channel.
All right, well, with June, we wrapped up our 4-H judging schools, and I'll be setting teams for the state fair this week. We had a beautiful day for our horse show last Wednesday. That was in Clark. We did have a rain right before that, so we did have a little bit of muddy conditions. I kind of felt bad for the judge who had to muck through all the mud all day. But
No dust.
No dust. There was no dust. So we did it with Spank, Clark, and Coddington together. That went really well. So we had 12 youth that have been actively attending our Power Chef program, at the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm doing one at the Extension office. So they've been learning some new cooking skills and are able to, use the knife safely and things like that. So we're going to finish today at the Extension office, and then next Tuesday I'll finish up at the Boys and Girls Club. So they've been excited about making their own meals and making something that they didn't think they liked, but they ended up liking it. So they kind of wrinkled their nose at sweet potatoes, but they ended up making their own sweet potato fries. So I'll be teaching nutrition at Camp Chance coming up in the next Tuesdays of July. Our special foods contest will be next week, and we have 16 youth signed up for that. That's going to be 2 days next week. I have a Progressive Farm Safety Day for 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds, and that's going to be held on July 18th in the morning. So I'm not going to do an all-day thing for that age group, but just a morning activity for farm safety. I will be at the State Horse Show at their in the office there. In Huron, I'll be there July 23rd and 24th, right after Camp Chance. So it goes 22nd, 23rd, and 24th in Huron. At the end of the month, we'll have our fashion review contest on July 31st. And then our achievement days are the 5th through the 8th. So I have our schedule of events for that. Hand those out. There you go. Another one here too. And that's 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And our theme is Wild About 4-H. So,
Thank you.
any questions on that?
Anyone have any questions for Jody? Okay, let's go right into the budget then.
What do you need me to just go over? We just went through the budget with the wages as they were requested by the auditor. We did decrease our rentals, did a little of their supplies decrease, and then upped the travel and conference just by $200 just for a national conference. And then everything else has remained the same except just the increase for salaries. So.
And there is a narrative at the back, on the last page of her tab there, that explains everything that she just said. Does anyone have any questions for right now? This being the first one, I did note that you used a 10% increase in the insurance.
And that was just projected. We
Yeah.
didn't know for
Yep.
sure.
Just
So.
so that
I would guess that most departments used a 3% wage increase, 10% for health insurance, just so we had some numbers to start working with. On the front page of your binders, there is a spreadsheet, and in yellow, next to each budget, it'll tell you if the budget, how much it went up or down percentage-wise.
okay.
So you can flip through that until you find,
Yep, and I think yours was 3 points.
3.2 just due to salary
yep,
mostly.
yep.
Any questions? Any comments, any questions for Jody? Now, of course, the salary is split with SDSU.
For my salary, yeah.
Yeah, for Jody's.
And that is listed on there also as a separate line item,
Yep,
429.10.
yep.
Okay.
And, of course, until we actually know that that's where we're at, we have to get the approval from SDSU. We work together.
That was their requested sheet.
That was
Yeah.
their request?
Yep.
Yep,
Oh,
there's
okay.
actually,
Oh, yeah, there it
with
is.
that
That was their
narrative.
rate.
Okay, yep, I see it now.
Okay.
Very good, thank you. All right, any other questions for Jody? Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, Jody.
All right, and then with travel requests, I had one travel request. I don't know if Cindy
Yeah,
wants to
I
do
saw
that
You
that.
can
now.
review it, we'll probably act on it at the end
Okay.
of the meeting, but you
I-
can review
I
it.
just requested travel to West Virginia for the national conference. That's going to be held in November. I do receive this year the meritorious service for South Dakota Association of Extension. You have to have 15 years or more to get that. So I'm in my 16th year actually. So,
Congratulations.
so I'll be receiving that in West Virginia. So that's why I requested that. So.
And that is under a separate cover in our packet for approval later on in the meeting, okay?
Yeah. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jody. Thanks for your work on the budget, keeping that
Yeah.
same.
All right, let's go on then to nursing, and we are blessed with some representation from the nursing department. Come on up. Good to have you here. And there is a hard copy of the report from the nursing department, and I was just telling her, I just had a chance to review it. It's very well done. But you can go through it with us, okay?
Alrighty. So I changed it up a little bit. I know this is a different report than you guys normally get, but I broke it down a little bit so you can kind of see the dollar number that's associated with some of the things that we do. So the first little section is a combination of April, May, and it was June through like the 26th. I didn't get all the way through June since it was due before July. And it kind of breaks down the different parts of packages that we give out to different clients and then the average cost of the food package. So you can kind of see there about how much in the 3 months on the very bottom right of that is about how much dollar amount that we give out per these 3 months for some of our clients. And these aren't all of the different categories. There are other categories. So that's just kind of a little snippet of it. We continue to serve everybody eligible for WIC, and that's going well. For our pregnant women, we have seen an increase of new pregnant women that have come on. For this second quarter, we had 31 new pregnant women that came on as certified for WIC. And then the next one is the prenatal education visits, so that's including other people that have been pregnant as well. WIC caseload, that kind of goes through how many people we have on WIC at the current time. If they, don't come in for benefits or different things like that, that's why the issue benefits is a little bit lower. And then June, I didn't have those numbers because we weren't completed with June yet. Reach out and read books. All of our clients get those. That is through a grant that they give just free books out to all of our clients. ASQs are developmental screening forms that we complete on all of our children. And then CRIBS is a program that we go through that distributes safe places for pack and plays for people that do not have one. So in April, May, and June, we gave out 8 total. So.
Good. Any
Kind of
questions
goes
on that
through
part
that.
of our report?
Mr. Chairman, just one question.
Yeah.
Can you explain the food package, what that entails for?
Yeah, so each food package is a little bit different. The exclusively breastfeeding package is the largest package that we give out to pregnant women. So pregnant and then like postpartum, so exclusively breastfeeding, and then children age 2 through 5 have a food package that consists of foods that include like a whole grain. They get milk, they get cheese, they get eggs, they get a dairy, they get money for fresh or frozen fruits or vegetables. The exclusively breastfeeding women also get some fish, so they'll get like canned tuna or sardines. And then the infants that are formula fed, we provide them with some formula.
Okay, good.
Only other real big thing that I have is on staffing. Melissa resigned from the position at the end of April, and she accepted a position back in Brookings, which is where she is from. And we recently, just since I sent this off, filled the other position that she had. So there will be a nurse that is coming from the Brookings Hospital, and she will be working Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then Liza, who is the part-time nurse in Clark, will work Monday and Friday. So they will job share 1.0 full-time position, and then I will be the other full-time nurse that's there all the time.
And this just happens after you wrote this?
Yes, it did. They literally, I think I sent this in on like Thursday morning or Wednesday night or something, and Thursday night we got acceptance from her. So
Can you
just
share with us who the new hire
she is, her name is Savannah Price, I believe. She is a nurse that works OB right now in the Brookings Hospital. She's from Bruce. So she will be commuting 3 days a week to start with us. She doesn't start until July 29th, I believe, is her first day.
Okay, great.
So, yeah.
For the benefit of the press, this is Cody Martin. She's with the South Dakota Department of Health at the Community Health Nurse Office.
Oh, I'm sorry, I should have had you.
That's all right.
Tell the press who you are. All right, anything else for Cody before we let her go? Anything? I think it's good to see these numbers, and it's amazing how much help we do offer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
good.
That's kind of why I broke it down. I think
Yeah,
it's good to see
appreciate that
numbers. So.
very much.
Yes, you're welcome.
All right,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank
you
you.
very much,
Have a good
Cody.
week. Have a good 4th.
Yes, you too.
Oh, how about budget?
Actually, Melissa prepared the budget, so
yes.
Cody's probably not quite up to speed, but We can do the nurse and WIC budget when we do the other miscellaneous ones.
All right, don't let
Okay.
us forget that, do
Yep,
it though.
yep.
All right, let's go on in. Al here, Veteran Service, Al's not here. Did you hear he's not coming, or?
Have not heard from him.
Let's go on down to weed then. Steve, we'll take the weeds first, maybe Al will show up. Morning, Steve.
Good morning.
Morning, Steve.
Let's see how close I get to this mic.
And Al.
You can always move it closer if you need to.
Oh, I talk loud already.
Tell the press who you are.
I am Steve Mollengraff, the Connington County Weed Supervisor.
Okay, good, thank you. Go ahead, Steve.
I have spectacles. All right, to start out, well, spraying is near complete on most of the roads. We are right now going out and touching some of the roads that we had first went out on. Some of the thistles weren't really showing up back then. So we're going out and retouching them and stuff. So earlier in the month of June, had the weed, or I should say plant ID tour, which was down by Montrose area. Had about 45 attended this year. Very good. We had gone to the state park at Vermilion, went to a couple pastures of a landowner, one that was really native and had a lot of different plant IDs. The one that had a lot of natives also had some, had a cemetery right beside it, so there was tulips and stuff like that growing from people dumping tulips and stuff out in the pasture, growing wildly. Also, had went to collect poison hemlock larvae in Nisland on June 18th. We were scheduled to go out the first part of June, like the 4th, I believe, but they weren't really out yet. So we kind of waited and finally got a call, went out on the 18th, collected on the 19th in the morning, and got back right away that evening and distributed them the following day. When we distribute them, we are finding results around here. We're starting to see more and more of the larvae showing up. So hopefully there will be more reduction of it. There are sites that we don't find anymore hemlock, but then there's sites that's really thick and full yet. So assisted with on leafy spurge collection. Assisted with Smink County on Thursday over in Tulare. There was about 30 people that showed up for that. Had a collection about 1.5 releases. People didn't want to hang around very long. It was kind of warm and muggy. Of course, that's the best time to collect, but they hung around for about an hour, hour and a half, and that was it. And they thought they were good enough, so they left. I am having one tomorrow afternoon at 12:30. We're going to meet at the county weed shed, and I've got a spot checked out north of Waverly. I need to double check this afternoon how well it's doing. If that's not doing as well as I expect it to, I'll need to go check another couple spots. But that is tomorrow at 12:30. We're meeting at the weed shed.
Steve, where, can you give that location of where the weed shed is at?
Okay, the weed shed is out at the Connington County Highway Department on Highway 20. My building is way in the far back lot. It is hidden.
Like a weed.
And especially behind all the big piles of gravel and recycle. So, next, pesticide container recycling is next week Tuesday from 8 to 1. That is also at the weed shed. So anybody that has jugs and stuff to bring in, they can come and bring them in between 8 to 1. Those guys pretty well wrap up by 1 o'clock because they need to go to a couple sites where they just pick up like at some elevators and stuff, so they will be leaving at 1. Now going to West Nile, have done some fogging. We've gotten traps set out. So far, mosquito numbers are really low. Even in Watertown, they've been low in all their traps. I know there's been some people have been bit up, but I know there's been a lot of gnats in the past months also, mixed with a few mosquitoes, but gnats were really atrocious in June. That cycle should be almost kind of coming to an end of the gnats, so. I do have to do some fogging so that for a couple communities for the 4-H functions coming up here this week, so.
Why are the mosquito numbers down? I thought they.
I think the biggest thing is we've had some heat, but our nights have been cool, and they really like warm nights, and so the hatches, they need to keep that warm nights in order for hatches to keep developing. So that is probably one of the reasons. I expected a big increase here, but now we're talking low 80s. Upper 70s again for the future forecast. So numbers at, nighttime lows are going to be dipping a little bit lower than 60 degrees. So that might make a big effect, even with all the moisture we've had. So
I'll take the cooler temperatures if we don't have mosquitoes. That sounds like a good trade-off to me.
yeah, well, I know a lot of farmers would like to have the warmer temperatures.
Yeah, no,
but
I agree with that too.
it'll all come out at the end of the year. So pretty well wraps that up for what I have to.
All right, any questions for Steve? We'll jump right into the budget then. I see you got yours in front of you.
Yes, I do.
And is everybody on right fit? Page 57? Everybody there? All right, go ahead.
Okay, on my budget pretty well for the wages and so that, I have about a $500 increase basically. The biggest jump probably is the health insurance, which have noted it's almost $1,000. When I had sent it in, Cindy had kind of noted, hey, you're low. And yes, I am. I'm probably going to be about $200 low this year. So yeah, so I need to make the adjustment. I should be okay in the budget in that area yet.
Since Steve turned this in, he's gone from single coverage to family, so
Right.
we may have to reevaluate
Right.
his budget before we finalize.
Yep.
Okay.
And then down in the other categories, there's just some slight changes, some increases and decreases, pretty well overall, but yet I'm still close to almost 4,000 or so less on the current expenditures.
Overall, Steve's budget,
But,
before
yeah.
we adjust the health insurance, is down about 1%
Yep.
from last year.
I got about 1% less, but one of the things is I have for the equipment, so I haven't purchased for this year yet and the upgrade on my chemical equipment yet. I've gotten some quotes. One of the gentlemen said that he might have found a used unit of the new ones that's only about a year and a half old. I haven't gotten back to him yet to see if he's gotten confirmed yet, so on that. But for next year, I plan on doing another truck. So that is more or less on the
And it looks like you
machinery.
dropped your supplies from 50,000 to 45,000.
Yep, dropped supplies, as you can notice in the past history and so that, it's been going down. Spot spraying has been a big, huge deal for chemical purchases and stuff, and it looking, depending on how this fall looks, but I think it's going to look dramatically less even this fall and so that for that. So as I keep monitoring it from year to year, I'll probably slowly decrease that line item to adjust for that. So.
And actually, that insurance
good.
isn't going to make that big of a difference, is it?
Yeah, going from single to family, it will.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
it
going
will.
single family, it does.
Yep. And at this point, we don't have any numbers in place for what our increase
Yeah.
could be, so.
All right, any questions for Steve? Any questions?
We do the West Nile budget too?
I think Miles got all that with him.
Yeah.
But right now, currently, that I know of, he says there's gonna be no change.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Milo will do those then. Okay.
You set a good example here with a -1% in the budget. That'll make the other department heads real happy.
yeah, I know. But,
Yeah, we have
but I
a
have,
name for Steve.
We appreciate
but I have a good way of doing it. I mean, by doing spot spraying, it's gonna start really reducing some
Kind of an
expenditures
overachiever.
and.
Overachiever.
Well,
We like them.
he has another name on the back of his pickup, which we won't mention.
Ford?
Might be obnoxious.
Any more questions for Steve? Thank you.
No,
Keep up
thanks,
the good
Steve.
work.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Yep.
Al never showed. Did he?
I think he may be on vacation this week, and
All right, let's go on then to item number 7, and that's action to authorize the chair to sign quitclaim deeds for tax deed property sold by sealed bids last week, and they are in your packet. And so I'll
Make
entertain
a
a motion to
motion
do that.
to allow the chairman to sign
Motion
those
by
quitclaim
Hammond,
deeds.
second by
I'll
Waterman.
second.
I got Waterman first, Lee. Any discussion? Any discussion? I think I only have 2 though.
I have them here. I have the, well, we put the
All right.
2 Henry parcels on one deed.
Okay, yep.
And
see it.
I do have the originals here, so,
All right.
okay.
We have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
And this is on the sealed bids we received last week. We have received the funds from both of the bidders and applied those, and we are good to get these back on the tax rolls.
Very good. Okay, seeing no more discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carry, well, Lee, we'll.
Aye.
Yep, okay, motion carries. All right, let's go on then to item number 8, and that is action to cancel contract with HSA for inmate counseling services, and Lee, I'm going to just call on you, I think it
Yeah.
warrants an explanation, and you were involved in this, so go ahead, will you?
Yeah, so this, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is part of the process of switching our healthcare, inmate healthcare in the jail over to the proposal that we accepted for MenCare. And so what happened was MenCare was able to get all their South Dakota certifications in place so they can start up. I want to say it's approximately the 1st of August. So if we approve this, give notice. This is basically giving notice to HSA for this agreement that you have in front of you to say we're going to terminate this agreement. So if we do it today, it meets the 30-day notice, so we can get started with the new healthcare system in with MenCare. Just so people understand, though, that what this is specifically for, so the agreement that we're canceling was just for that part-time healthcare professional to provide counseling and case management services in the detention center. So it was a part-time, 20 hours a week service. So we're still working with HSA and all the other stuff we're working on, and as far as mental health and stepping up initiative things and the behavioral health and justice working group, we'll still be working with HSA. It'll just be some of the mental health counseling will be provided through MenCare. And so there's still some things we're going to need to work out procedurally, as there is with any particular jail for MenCare. So we'll still be involved with HSA, but we owe it to them just to give notice on this particular thing. So I make a motion to cancel the contract with HSA.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Gable. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Van Duzen. Any discussion?
Who's going to draft the written notice?
Lee, you
Do
want
you want? I can send some quick verbiage on an email after
That would
the
be
meeting,
fine.
or
Yep.
if that would help. And
That would be great.
just so everybody knows that the sheriff is the one who has been working this directly with MenCare and HSA. So he said once MenCare was ready to go, once he knew that they'd be ready to go on 1st of August, then that gave us the information we needed to know when we had to cancel this contract with HSA.
I may ask Brad to sign that, whatever you draft.
All right, so
Okay.
you'll draft some wordage and get it to Cindy then, and.
Yeah, I'll do it right after the
And
meeting.
we'll have Brad sign off on it, all right? All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, let's go on then to item number 9, action to approve a resolution of continued support for the First District Association of Local Governments.
I'll
and
make
that-
that motion. It's been a 10-year cycle that was agreed upon. It goes through 20, well, this one will go now to 2020. It was an incremented step increase each year for 10 years back, starting in 2012, which started 2013 to 22.
And that is in your packet. There's 2 sheets. Did everybody find that? All right. So we have a motion by Hatton.
I'll second it.
A second by Gable. Any discussion?
Our contract last year was $40,926.14, and with the step that they have in place this year, it's $42,153.93.
Very good. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Gable?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Let's go on then to item number 10, and that is in your packet as well. Action to approve an agreement with Moody County, and that's the Flandreau, where Flandreau is located, for housing inmates. And you heard Judge Howell last week.
Sheriff Howell.
Sheriff Howell.
Or Sheriff Howell. Who did I say, Judge Howell?
Judge, he promoted him.
He got promoted last week, didn't he?
I'll make a motion to approve this
A
contract.
motion by Hatton. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Gable. Any discussion?
What is the dollar amount on that?
$85 per day. It's on the
$85 per
front
day.
page.
And that is that's our contract
That is our
amount.
set rate at this time, yeah, it's in section 2 on the first page, $85 per day.
And this is only if there is room, if
Correct.
room allows.
Our inmate, Cottington County inmates take precedence over other counties.
Yeah, and the whole
And
agreement.
just for people's information, Mr. Chairman, I can amplify a little bit on this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just that typically Moody uses Lake County Jail, and as Lake County Jail is also, they have similar problems to us, at least, with the times getting crowded. And so I think this is this is an effort to help Moody County, or this is Moody County looking for
I agree.
other available space when they need it.
I'll make a motion. Did you already make a motion?
We have a motion and a second.
Motion
sorry.
and a second already, yeah. Any more discussion? Thank you, Lee. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Lee?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. All right, let's go on then to item number 11, which is action to authorize the chair to sign an agreement with the South Dakota Department of Transportation for an appropriation, that's not the right word.
Apportionment.
Apportionment of highway infrastructure program funds to replace or rehabilitate the bridges. And that's in your packet as well, the information on that.
Make a motion to
A
approve.
motion by Hatton to approve. Is there a second to that?
Second.
A second by Commissioner Waterman. Any discussion? Have you had a chance to look at?
I have the originals here also on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Kind of interesting, the last page of that packet is the structure is in poor condition as determined from 2017. And there's 6 of them in Cottington County. And there's not a dollar amount fixed to any of them, but it's big dollars. And
Well, Mr. Chairman, part of this deal is, the state says they're going to get $3.47 million and locals is gonna get 17,313,000. That's for the whole state.
Yeah,
We get 134,000.
Correct.
Rick is here. Was there anything Rick wanted to add to any of this?
All I have is where those bridges are.
all right, yeah, that'd be interesting, though.
All right, these are all on the plan or whatever in the increments of years. Is that correct, that these are listed?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're in order as to worst to best to worst, or?
No.
They're not, they're
No,
just.
they're
all
just on the
bunched.
list.
Okay, go ahead.
The first one on the list is on Willow Creek, east of town, on County Road 75. Just north of where we plan to fix the washout next year. The second one is on Sioux Conifer Road, County Road 13. The third one is in Waverly Township. That one is closed. That one has a wood top. It's in the middle of the section there.
Why is it closed? Because of its poor shape?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So is this a main thoroughfare, like are individuals having to go quite a distance then because
Detour
this
around
is closed?
One of the farmers has about a 3-mile detour to get from one side to the other, from where he lives that farms the land. The fourth one is on 177th down in Sheridan Township, right on just north of the county line. The next one is on 172nd Street in Henry Township. That is currently reduced down to 6 ton per vehicle. And the very last one is on County Road 44. This one has been in the works for a long time. It has a cost in place slab bridge that is went to design for replacement. When that's going to happen, I can't really tell you.
Where is 44?
44,
44?
yep.
In,
Germantown Township, sorry.
So these funds that we're receiving, which project will these be applied to?
Well, I've talked to our bridge inspector, and the first two, there may be, because the top one needs a new deck. So depending on what that comes up to, and then the Sioux Conifer Bridge, and there'll probably be more bridges added to this list down the road.
By our inspections.
Yep,
That Sioux Conifer Road, is that the river bridge?
yeah.
Big bridge. That's
Yeah.
that bridge there.
Yes, it is. So I don't think $134,000
No,
will.
not gonna touch it. No.
Yeah.
All right, any more questions for Rick? Anything?
Just so I understand, these are South Dakota Department of Transportation funds that are being appropriated to Cottington County to assist with the
Yes.
renovation of these bridges. Okay. Now, that amount that's on this sheet, this first sheet, is amount that's divided statewide, Charlie? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, so that 17.3 million is statewide,
Yes.
and Cottington County receives a chunk of that.
134,000.
Okay.
So.
All right, I
and
just want to make sure it's clear.
these funds came from the federal government,
the second
I was
correct?
going to say,
Yes.
they're not part of the big program.
No,
This is
they
separate.
came from the federal government,
Okay,
allocated to the state
Okay.
to distribute. So,
Okay.
And we have 3 years to use this up, right?
yes.
Is it a match
No, they're,
for the county? It's just, okay. All right, I like that.
Good questions, though. Any others? Any other questions? They're good questions. All right. Okay, good.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Rick.
Rick.
Thank you, Rick. All right, now, number 12.
I think we need to
national-
vote yet on that.
yep.
Oh, yeah, we need to.
Motion and a second, yep.
Yeah, we have a.
I made the motion.
Okay, And what is your motion?
I made the motion to approve or authorize you to agreement with DOT.
Motion by Hatton, second by Waterman.
Yep.
Any discussion? Any discussion? You have all the paperwork here, right?
Yes,
Cindy?
I do.
All right. Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Commissioner Gable?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you. Number 12 on the agenda, action to approve the use of the courthouse grounds for National Night Out for law enforcement, and that is coming up next week, right?
The first Tuesday in August.
So that would be August.
Next month.
Yep.
August
I'll make the
6th.
motion to approve the,
All right, motion by Van
I'll
Duzen.
second that.
Second by Hatton. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I would just like to encourage people to come out to National Night Out and take advantage of that. We'll be talking about it probably as it gets a little closer, but right now it's, I've been a part of that just about every year that
And
it's been
doesn't
in
it
existence.
switch back and forth
Yes.
between,
It goes to
Yeah.
the PD one year, and
Yeah.
then the sheriff's office hosts it the next year. And so, but it's a great time to get out and meet your local law enforcement and see your tax dollars at work, if you will, with the
that'd be
equipment that they
Tuesday,
have.
August
and
6th?
Come out with the kids. They usually have a ping pong ball drop off the roof of the courthouse, which is kind of fun. So come on out.
And there are a lot of other booths there as well,
Yep,
just for
absolutely.
information on just all sorts
So
of,
they're fingerprinting possibly?
Yeah.
across the
fingerprinting.
church, and they do impressions, I think dental impressions, and, well, they used to, I don't know if they do that anymore.
That's a ping pong drop off the court, not a kid
Yeah,
drop.
they've done that in years past. I don't know if they'll do it. No, they're not dropping kids off the roof,
Okay,
Myron.
good.
They're dropping
Just
ping pong
clarify
balls.
that.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, for prizes
yeah.
and that sort of thing. It was hosted by a retailer here in town. So Target, I think, is a big sponsor of National Night Out,
Yes.
and so they give back to school backpacks and stuff.
sometimes there's contests between different law enforcement, first responders, those sorts of things also happen.
For the record, if we can get this on the record, I placed second in the donut eating contest one year. It was close. It was close, but I
The donut eating contest, huh?
placed second, not first.
What's
a couple years ago.
What's the prize for second place?
You,
Donuts.
you get I don't know, it's like a traveling trophy or something. I don't know. Shape of a
That
donut.
reminded me of a story that involved lutefisk, but we'll leave that for later. All right, let's go on.
We have a
then.
motion and a second. We just need to vote.
Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Gable?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Thank you. Let's go on to number 13, discussion regarding payment from Dakota Sioux Casino for law enforcement and road service per previously adopted agreement. And we do have a check here from Dakota Sioux. Cindy, go ahead.
We received a check last Tuesday, June 25th, in the amount of $45,937.50 from Dakota Sioux Casino. When I read the agreement, it looks to me like we are to receive two payments of $75,000 each for a total of $150,000. So when this check came, there was no explanation of why it was less than what the agreement calls for. So I sent a letter to Dakota Sioux Casino and copied it to the tribe chairman, and I'm just waiting for an explanation. I believe Roberts County also received a payment less than they expected, but there was no explanation with the check. But when I read the contract, there is a clause in there that if the casino's revenues are less than the previous year, that we don't move up to the step listed in the contract, but we do receive the payment from the previous year, which was $150,000 in 2018.
And this is taken on their word, this is not audited by anybody.
A few years ago, when we received a smaller payment than expected, we did ask for some kind of evidence that their revenues were down, and we did finally receive something. I believe the tribe authorized the Department of Revenue to report to us that their revenues were down, in fact. but we did not receive that until we specifically asked for it.
Have we contacted the city? I mean, did they cut a separate check for them, or does their amount get taken out of?
No, they send the whole amount to the county every year, and then I send out the city's share to them and Rawville Township's share. This would be the normal time of year for the first payment, but like I said, it's much less than what I read in the contract, and I'm just waiting to hear from them for some kind of an explanation on why the check was this amount.
One thing that we might consider doing is, we'll wait for their response and see what it is, but having had that hearing last winter or whenever it was, we probably need to share that with the gambling, Department of Gambling, or it's not gambling, it's
Yeah, I know.
Gaming, it's the Gaming Commission.
Gaming Commission,
yeah,
right.
with the Gaming Commission.
But the Gaming Commission really has no
Regulatory control over that.
over our agreement with the tribe, correct? This agreement was signed back in September of 2013.
So that agreement specifies what was the payment?
How much we were supposed to get per year.
$75,000 in
Well,
one payment?
actually, this year we were supposed to get much more, but because the contract says that if their gaming revenues are down, we revert to the prior year's
Which is
payment, which is
$150,000
$150,000.
total.
Yeah, so it would be two payments of 75, and
So you're looking at 90 instead of 100.
so, yeah, I have no idea, I mean, this is estimated,
Possible.
revenue we have estimated, but
We may
like
want
I
to
said, there was
get,
no explanation, so I did send a letter out a week ago today, and still waiting to hear back. And I'm
Becky,
keeping in contact with Roberts County too to see if they receive any information.
we may have to get Becky involved in it as well. She was CC'd on there, so.
I think it's under new management again, Dakota Sioux.
I could not tell you.
That's my
Well, we
understanding.
obviously, we want to retain good partnerships with
Well, we
with
want to
the
honor our
casino.
part of the
and,
contract or the agreement, yep,
it's like if we didn't follow through with the terms on our end,
right.
sure they would expect to know why that is. And
Yeah.
we would like that same answer, so.
Yep.
All right, so that's.
I will keep you updated on that.
Thank you, Cindy, and don't send the check back.
I made that mistake one year. I will not make that mistake
I
again.
know. Let's go on to number 14 then, discussion possible action to adopt a resolution requesting that the South Dakota Association of County Commission pursue legislation to minimize taxpayer costs when funding county construction projects. And this is actually the legislation that Lee was involved in last year, and they made a few changes in it, and one of those changes is they renamed it. Lee, why don't you go ahead and take the lead on this? Would you do that, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I'm making a motion that we adopt this resolution. And just to explain the differences from last year. Last year it was more focused on justice facilities like courthouses and jails. In order for more counties to be able to take advantage of this, I just referenced the two statutes that give a good description of all the different county buildings that are mentioned specifically in law, and then also added facilities that would reduce rates of incarceration. So that could be recidivism reduction, or something else that a county might want to do, and it might require infrastructure to do. That wouldn't necessarily be a jail, but that was not specifically mentioned in the statute, just to make sure that that's available. And that was something that came up from last year's, an idea that came from last year's sponsor. So basically, the major difference is, in order to accommodate more counties, it just simply references the statutes, and that's if you want to look at those, that's 725.1 and 725.3. And you'll see how it lists out, it includes courthouses and jails, but extension facilities and other things that counties might do. But again, we want to make sure people understand that the most expensive things, courthouses and jails namely, those are things that the counties are responsible for. Other things you might have, I should say, they're responsible for in law, and that's codified in law. So, and then the other thing to focus on, kind of the major aspect, so that the title of the act, if it becomes a bill and everything, would be to minimize taxpayer costs, and that's the reason we want to do this. So that's why that's renamed like that. So we understand why we're doing this. And basically, the mechanism that it would use to, just for everybody else's edification, if you're not familiar with the issue, the way it would save money is if a county could ask their voters for a half-cent sales tax when it comes time to build something, and then you could do a bond election similar to what we did back in June and back in June 2017 and in November of 2014, I believe it was, where you go and you ask the voters, can we please issue bonds, and that's going to mean an increase in taxes. Well, right now counties only can ask for property tax. The problem with that is that's typically a 20-year term, takes a long time, adds to the financing costs. If we can use a half-cent sales tax, in many counties around the state, that the length of that term will be much shorter. So it's kind of like going from a 30-year to a 15-year mortgage on your house. You save a lot of money in financing. So that's basically the idea. So you're just giving counties another option. Voter approval would be mandatory, so it's not something that counties could, a Board of County Commissioners could say, just hope that voters don't refer. This is something where we'd have to say, okay, voters, can we do this? No matter what. That's the way this resolution is written, and that's the way it would become a bill if we have sponsors. So right now in the House, it looks like there's a legislator very willing to sponsor it, still working on the Senate side. But what this resolution does is Cottington County's request to the South Dakota Association of County Commissioners to take this cause up basically in the next legislative session.
All right, thank you, Lee. Lee made the motion.
I'll
Is there a
second.
We have a motion by Gable and a second by Van Duzen. Discussion. I would just make a comment that this action that we take today is the first step in a bunch of loops that we have to jump through. And this is recommending to the Association of County Commissioners to proceed and support this resolution.
Which I will add to that, these resolutions need to be in by July 1st because we have our executive board meeting August 4th and 5th when we now as the executive board or also the resolution committee will be going through all the resolutions that are submitted and focusing. Typically we try to narrow them down to, minimum numbers, maybe 3 to 5, a lower number, so that when we bring it to convention then in the fall, the full body will then decide which ones we will, if they support the ones that we have chosen. So
I just need a little clarification. So you're going to adopt this as a Cottington County resolution, is that correct? So I should assign one of our resolution numbers to it and incorporate it into my minutes, is that correct?
I think that's correct.
Okay. So then
because we did this a few years ago as a county. Last year we did it as the Sioux Valley Commissioners, the group of counties in Sioux Valley. But a few years ago when we first did this, I want to say it was 2016. We did it as a Cottington County resolution, like we're doing now.
Okay.
So I think there was a number to that.
All right. Can you send this to me then so I can incorporate it in my minutes as a Word document?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. All right.
I have a question, Lee.
Go ahead.
The
Commissioner
second penny or the half cent referred to in this resolution, unless I missed it, does this allow for the exemption of food?
No, we wouldn't have. That would be a question of the way the Department of Revenue does that. I mean, I guess what would happen is if the state were to change the way they do sales tax, then we would be able to do that. We tried in the last resolution for the last session, we had a provision in there maybe that would be, just to give you an idea of the issues involved, to exempt farm equipment. Well, it turns out that was really unnecessary because farm equipment is they're like cars. They get taxed with excise tax, not sales tax. But had that been something different, the Department of Revenue said you need to take that out because that hurts our ability to levy what's called streamlined sales tax, or to manage streamlined sales tax. So I imagine that would be the same issue, and so that would probably require different legislation, which would impact all sales tax of the state if that was ever a thing. And so that would, if that happened though, that would have to be, that would affect, as you calculate out the likely revenue from a sales tax bond, that would probably change the term and probably lengthen it a little bit. So, all those factors would go into play as you run the numbers for each particular situation.
Did that answer your question, Charlie?
Yeah, it seems that without the exemption, without a resolution for the extra half cent on sales tax, I put this as a regression. I'd like to see that put in here, in this resolution.
Okay, repeat that again. I'm not certain what you're saying.
The half cent penny sales tax, and I'm not a big favor of sales tax on food, but I know it's a large part of our revenue in South Dakota. The same people, and I'm thinking back to the county nurse earlier with the WIC program and things like that. If we have a half cent increase, it's going to be a regressive tax for those individuals.
Lee, are you listening?
Yeah, I heard, and so that's a debate at the state level, quite honestly. I mean, like I said, if that's the way the state decides to administer sales tax, it would affect anything like anything like this. But I don't. If we do it, if we try to do this legislation, based on what the Department of Revenue said last time, they're going to say that interferes with our administration of streamlined sales tax, and please take that provision out. So that's basically what happened last time. So.
All right. Thanks for the explanation. Any more discussion? Any more discussion? We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Lee?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
No.
Okay, we have 4 ayes and 1 no. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks for your work on that, Lee.
Thank
All
you.
right, let's go on then to item number 15, which is primarily notice. Note July has 5 Tuesdays in it. We will not be meeting the last Tuesday in July. Is that it?
That's it. Just want everybody to plan accordingly.
And number 16 then is review of the 2020 budget requests, and we...
Actually, that was just the ones, it was just a reminder to do the monthly reports. We will do the rest of them at a meeting where we have more time. This is a short week for me to get everything wrapped up, so.
And then Lee will be able
Commissioner
to.
Gable
yeah.
should
Yep.
probably be here for that
If
as
you
well.
want to just take a quick glimpse, Cindy has done a good job here in showing some of the increases that we're going to be dealing with, and you can see that there's a couple in here that are pretty large,
But we also have a 41% decrease in government buildings. That's
Wow.
nice, right?
Yeah.
There are some decreases in here.
And there are some decreases
Right.
in there.
Right.
But,
Our courthouse remodel project is wrapping up, so that's the reason for that.
And, well, we'll get to that later on
Yeah. Yep.
and zero in on that. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go on to number 17, action on change orders for the remodel project. Commissioner Gable, is there anything there?
No, Mr. Chairman, just one note. We should be seeing the final bills shortly from the contractor. I think the architect and the contractor are kind of working out the paperwork details on that, so I'll check on that. But right now I don't anticipate any more change orders
All right.
for the
thank you.
project.
All right. Number 18, action to approve any claims for payment.
None today.
We like that. And number 19, action to approve automatic budget supplements.
None today.
We like that as well. Number 20, action to approve personnel changes. We have a couple of them.
First one is Mary Franson. She is the Deputy Register of Deeds. She's due an anniversary step increase to step 12, $23.79 per hour. Sean Mills is a new hire in the detention center as a part-time correctional officer, step 3, $18.95 per hour. J.C. Moe has also been added to the pool of part-time correctional officers at step 1, $17.81 per hour.
Move to approve
A
those.
motion by Hatton to approve, is there a
Second.
second? Second by Commissioner Gable, any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Commissioner Gable?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Travel requests, I know we have at least one, if not two of them.
The only one I have is the Extension 4-H Youth Program Advisor requesting authorization to travel to the National Association of Extension 4-H Agents Conference in West Virginia.
And that was Jody, and
Move
she
to
mentioned that in
approve.
her report,
Move to approve.
and it is a budgeted item. We have a motion by Hatton.
Second.
Second by Van Duzen. Any discussion?
Is this state going to be shared by the, cost shared by the state?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
I can't tell you that. I know she does have a note on here
Yeah.
that travel is also pending approval from SDSU.
Yeah, I
but
thought that's what she
don't
said.
know if they pay any of the costs.
But it is in the budget. All right, any more discussion? Any more discussion? Seeing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Gable?
Aye.
Opposed, same side. Motion carries. Is there any mature business, any old business that we need to take up today? Any old business? Any old business? Any old business? Seeing none? Let's go on to new business. Is there any new business? Any new business? Any new business? Pretty quiet. Let's go on to the open then. I do have one thing for the open, and this is more of a public announcement that there will be no fireworks allowed at Memorial Park. Fireworks is off limits at Memorial Park. I said, what about 4th of July? Said, nope, no fireworks, period.
Well, Memorial Park falls under the City of Watertown's regulations because Memorial Park is within the City of Watertown
Yeah.
city limits. I mean,
So can they shoot fireworks? City can. They can,
Yeah.
can they?
no,
You can launch fireworks at City Park and Jackson Park.
right.
I didn't think you could at Memorial Park.
Memorial
Cindy,
Park sits within the City of Watertown.
Right, but it's a county property.
Right, but the county's never, I mean, other than Myron's announcement right now,
Okay.
the county's never
What have we done in
taken
years
action.
past, I guess? I
The
don't know.
county's never taken action to prohibit.
Okay.
It would be up to the Memorial Park caretakers,
So-
but the fact that it's city property, it would be the same as if you lived in town, I believe.
Okay, you can launch them around Lake Kempesca on the 4th of July only.
We probably
And that
should
goes
have
up until
had-
midnight on July 4th, and
If
then
you're
it
gonna ban
stops.
fireworks in Memorial
So-
Park, you probably should have had board action.
Yeah, I would say we need to
But
address
it is,
that,
I suppose, up to the discretion of the campground manager.
Now, that
but-
does not include the state park either.
Right.
You can't launch them at the state
Right,
park either,
right.
so.
Because residents around the lake can shoot them off on the
That's,
4th of
that's
July
correct,
evening.
yep, around the lake, yeah.
All I know, the manager is, the Memorial Park came in this morning and told me, asked me if I would announce that there will be no fireworks allowed, no fireworks in, at Memorial Park.
Okay.
And I guess at this point, that's his call. He's gonna have to police it too, so.
I would just make mention that a week from this Wednesday, so the 17th, is the First District picnic at Memorial Park. If any of you are planning to attend, please RSVP.
I'll be there.
All right, and let Susie at First District know so they can plan for food.
Anything
When
else?
is that? When is that?
The 17th, I
Of July.
believe. Yep,
Okay.
17th of July,
Okay.
6 p.m.
Anything else for the open? I do have a request for an executive session from our HR person, Terry, in reference to union contracts.
Make a motion to go into exec under
And
number
that
3.
would be number...
Three.
Number three on that.
Troy?
All
Mr.
right,
Chair,
have a
can I-
motion by-
Can I, before we adjourn, can I just make one clarification on the Memorial Park issue? just so the media, so we get that right out to the media.
Okay.
What is our county stance on fireworks in Memorial Park so that they can put it out there correctly? No fireworks allowed in Memorial Park per park management?
Per park management.
Okay. You got that? Okay.
Do we have to add hours?
July 4th, no fireworks at all at Memorial
period.
Park, period.
No fireworks,
Yeah,
period.
just
Okay.
the city properties. And I think that release came out earlier this week. So you should
Enhanced
have it.
period. All right, okay, we have a motion to go into executive session by Hatton. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Van Duzen. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
We are in executive session. Thank you.
Aye.
Sorry, Lee.
There will be no
There'll be no action at
action
this
on
time.
anything.
So for the press, we'll see you next week.
See you.
Have a good week.